Have you ever gone through a loss and later realized that it actually led you to creating something you never would have imagined? My name's Heidi, and in this video, I want to talk about loss and the new beginnings that can come of it. This morning, I was on my usual hike with my dog, and we've had a ton of rain. Oh my gosh, so much rain. And there was this giant tree that had just uprooted and fallen over. And you could see just the wreckage and carnage of the forest all through the kind of drop of this tree and its massive branches. And it was at least 2 to 3 feet in diameter. And I felt really sad because this tree was so much bigger than so many of the other trees around it. And its life is over. But then I thought its life actually isn't over, because it'll be a nurse log for a multitude of other plants and probably some other trees. And while you can't see it right now, all you see is the loss and the wreckage. But what's going on under the surface is creating the conditions for new beginnings. And then I thought about the larger cycles of nature that are always loss and birth and end of life and beginnings of life and cycles of life, and how that's a metaphor for the loss that we have in our lives. And I've had a lot of losses. The loss I want to talk about is the loss of so much of my life and me due to illnesses that were kind of gradually what felt like stealing my life over a decade. And I was so consumed with my symptoms and what I was losing, which I eventually lost relationships, I lost my career, I lost the identities that I had of being a professional, working, and being an athlete, and being a person who's really robust. And for so long, I just wanted so much to get that person back. I just wanted to get back to that person that I was before I felt like my life had been taken from me. And it was this weird, like, feeling despair and grief over so much of the loss, and this longing for this person that actually didn't exist anymore. And it took me years to realize that I had to let go of that. I had to let go of that person because I would never be that person again. And as much as I felt so many doors closing to me because of what I was losing, I saw this little door almost through a tunnel that had a crack in it. And that was an open door. And it turned out to be the biggest door of my life, which is opening the door to looking inside of me and finding out who I am and creating who I am and accepting who I am. And what has come of that is part of this channel, and it's part of this rebirth, I guess, of me that came from the loss. I could never be where I am today if I didn't have all that loss. And as painful as it was, and some of it still is, it was worth it for knowing what I know and being who I am today. And when we have a huge loss, we don't see any of that we can become, or that new start, or that new beginning. I didn't see it for years. And that was, I was at rock bottom and trying to pull myself out. And it was just this kind of unfolding curiosity about what I can learn, as well as working toward letting go of that person that I had once been, and letting go of the dream of going backwards and being that person that I was, and inventing a new vision for my life. But I'm a different person with a different paradigm and a different worldview and a different perspective. So how do you go on? How do you start creating those new beginnings when you have loss? I think the first step is, what can I do today to move myself forward? And that could be getting out of bed. That could be a victory. At the depths of my pain and loss, that was a victory to be able to get out of bed. And when I lost my mom and my sister and my dog, it was like this heavy weight every day. You couldn't get out from under it. It just followed me around everywhere. But you do it anyway, and you carry that weight, and you let yourself grieve, and you be so kind to yourself. And you celebrate. I got up and I went through the motions today, and I still have this empty feeling, and that's not going to go away, because loss is a piece of us leaving. Whether that was a person, whether it was a career, whether it was a job, whether it was an animal. And I don't know that you can fill that. I think that's a part that's with that person or that loss. But it doesn't mean that you can't create something else, something new. And when you go through the process of doing something every day, and you have the courage to carry that weight of the loss and the emotions that are like a storm sometimes, that's how you move forward. And some days it's too hard, maybe. And that's okay too. It's not linear. But if you can push yourself to take a step, a small step every day, and recognize, yeah, I did get up and I did go to work today, and I'm here and I'm doing the best that I can. And realize you don't have to have it figured out of what is the new beginning. What is the becoming that's down the road? You don't have to have that figured out right now. By moving forward every day, whether you realize it or not, you are already on your new beginning. If you're moving through loss in your life, know that my heart is with you, and know that you are not alone. Everybody in the whole world experiences loss. And it takes immense courage to sit with the pain and let it be there. If this video helped you in your journey with loss, or you know somebody who it might help, please pass it on. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day.